let's go. I just remembered it's Wednesday, so I gotta go faster. Section 4.6, quotient. Tonight's homework is page 379, numbers 41 through 54. Okay guys, that's a 4 and a 1, and then through 5, 4. Okay, just making sure we're all on the same page here. Alright, so last night's homework, it looks like a majority want help on 131, 33, and 35. So let's go with 133 first, because that's what I heard the most. Brooklyn, read it to me, please.
38 minus square root of negative 200 plus square root of 1.
Alright, Cesar, what should I do first? We did this on Remind together, so let's go.
Oh yeah. First we have to factor negative 200, so I got 100.
Go ahead, Ben.
100, 2, and negative 1.
So he broke this into its factors, which is going to be a negative, let's do negative 1 times 2 times 100. So you're going to take the square root of each one of those. Destiny, what's the square root of 100? 10. What's the square root of negative 1? Oh, you weren't here yesterday. Oh my gosh, that sucks. How come you didn't watch my video, little girl? It's just I, baby. Just I. Anytime you have the square root of negative 1, that's I. You guys, being absent in my class is not a ticket to like not know stuff. Okay? You gotta watch the video. If we're gonna sit here and make the videos, you have to watch them. You guys watch YouTube videos all the time. I'm just as exciting, so just watch it. Okay? And then the square root of 2. So this part is just this right here. So we have a 38 minus 10i rad 2 plus, Mina, what's the square root of 121? 11. So we have like terms here. Oshini, we got this 38 and this 11, which is? Yep, so my answer is 49 minus 10i rad 2. Raise your hand if that's what you got. Good. Nicely done. It's all good. 135. Brooklyn, can you read that to me, please?
Negative square root of negative 28. Did you get that? Plus square root of 21 over 3.
Just this part is over 3, right? Okay.
Minus square root of 12 over 6.
All right, let's do one at a time here. Let's do this first part, which is the square root of negative 28. Let's break this down. Victoria, what are 3 numbers that multiply to negative 28? What's the first one because it's negative? Negative 1. Louder, honey. 4 and 7. So we're going to do the square root of each one of these. Destiny, what's the square root of negative 1? I, nicely done. What's the square root of 4? 2. So this part is just 2i rad 7. But be careful because of this negative right here. There's a negative here too. Dylan, can you break down the square root of 21?
Yes.
So what and what?
It's
3 and 7, but can I break down 3 and 7? No, so I can't really do anything with this. It's just going to be rad 21 over 3.
Can you simplify this?
You cannot, because the square root of 21 is the same thing as the square root of 7 times the square root of 3, and since it's in the square root, you cannot simplify.
Oh, so the whole thing's being over.
Correct. Correct. Good question. Noah, can you break down this 12 for me? Yep, square root of 3 times the square root of 4. What is the square root of 4? 2. So this becomes minus 2 rad 3 over 6. Now I can simplify. Do you see it, Dylan? You see this 2, 6? Now I can simplify this. Y'all with me? You cannot simplify here because this guy's in the square root, this guy's outside the square root. You cannot simplify. This guy's outside, so now you can simplify. Y'all with me? Okay, so 2 over 6 reduces to what?
1/3.
1/3. So I got a negative 2i rad 7 plus rad 21 over 3 minus rad 3 over 3. Mm-hmm. So since it's a common denominator, we can put this over the same fraction. So it's negative 2i rad 7 plus rad 21 minus rad 3 over 3. Ew, that's ugly. I know. It's like Labrat, but it works.
So either way could be the right answer.
Yeah, this is just simplified. How do I check my answer? Do I just like, oh, I hope I'm right? What did I tell you to do? Plug it in the calculator. If you plug this in the calculator without the I, and plug the original in the calculator without the I, you should have the same decimal. Yeah, babe. What's 2 over 6 reduced, babe? Isn't it just 1 over 3? Isn't that 1 rad 3 over 3? You see it, babe? Okay, I can do one more because of our time, guys. So choose. Do you want 149 or do you want 131? I just did 135. 131 or 149. Those are the two higher votes. Pick one. 131 or one? Yes, babe.
The very first one you did was 130.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. 133. I'm sorry. Wait, this was 133? This was 131?
Yeah.
All right, so pick 133 or 149. Ready? Vote for 133. Raise your hand. Vote for 149. All right, 133 it is. Brooklyn, can you read it to me, please? The right one?
Square root of negative 48 minus 12 all 4. Or that's the square root of it. Or just
This, right?
Yeah.
The whole thing over? Yeah. This one's butter, baby. Let's do this one first. Break it down. Daisy, what 3 numbers multiply to negative 48? Try to give me a square.
16 and 3.
Good. Negative 1, 16, and 3. Nicely done. Watch my video tonight, Destiny, so you can see why we didn't pick 12 and 4 or 24 and 2. Okay, you'll see why she picked 16 and 3. All right. Cesar, what's the square root of negative 1? I. What's the square root of 16?
4.
And then you just attach the rad 3. So here we go, guys. This is 4i rad 3 minus 12 all over 4. So all you guys have to do is anything that's outside of the square root, you reduce it. So you're going to reduce this and you're going to reduce that. Only the ones that are outside. You're not allowed to reduce that's inside stuff because it's not 4, it's the square root of 4. It's not 3, it's the square root of 3. That's not the same thing. You can't reduce if it's in a square root. Y'all with me? All right, Elizabeth, ready? What is 4 divided by 4 reduced to? 1. So then you're just going to be left with I rad 3. And then what is 12 divided by 4 reduced to? Minus 3.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Negative 3i plus I rad 3. That's the right way to write it. Be careful because the I rad 3 is positive. I won't mark you wrong. I'll just laugh at you.
I did 3i over 4 and then I did minus 12 over 4.
Okay, so you have this.
Over.
Question, is the I inside the radical or outside? outside. So you have to be careful that you don't do this, because that little thing is wrong. Sad face, not the same thing. Okay, just be careful. If you're on a test and I'm unsure, I'm gonna mark it wrong. So just be safe and just put it outside. All right, this is example 1. You wanna go check on this fit girl? Does she need you? You wanna go check on this fit? Thanks, bro. Hey, go check on her first if she has a piece of cheese. Thanks, bro. Example 1. Let's say I have this letter I, and I want it to become real. Isaiah, don't let me lose you. I want it to become real. That means right now it's imaginary. You with me? Right now this I is imaginary. I want to add to it or subtract or multiply or divide, or do something to this I to make it real. So what I want to do is reference our notes from the other day. God bless you. And I remember that there's only 2 ways to make a number real. There's only 2 ways to make a number real. What are the only ways to have something become real? What has to be true about the exponents? They have to be what? They have to equal to 0? Ready? Let's take a look at all these numbers. All these numbers have a real answer of 1. All these numbers have a real answer of -1. Are you with me? So these guys are not real. What can I multiply by to make them real? What do you notice about all the exponents for these guys? They're all evens. Y'all with me? Pretty easy? So if I just give you I, that's real or imaginary? Imaginary. Now I want it to be real. What can I do to make it real? Multiply it by what? By 2? Now that says 2i. Multiply it by I, because now it's going to say what? I squared. So what we just do right now, you guys, is we're multiplying by what we call the conjugate. We're going to write its conjugate because that's what's going to make it become real. So for I would multiply it by another I, and then that becomes I squared, and it's real. So, of course, the numbers are not going to be this easy because sometimes they're going to challenge us and give us really complex numbers. But the idea is to get rid of the I. How do you get rid of a fake one? Making it real. Okay? You make it by multiplying it by the I. So if I give you example 2, 7 plus 2i. Is this a real number or imaginary? It's imaginary. How do you know? Because there's an I in it. It's imaginary. And I don't want it to be imaginary anymore. So because of this I right here, that means I'm going to have to multiply it by something to get rid of the I. Well, I wonder what I can multiply by to make sure there's no I's. Let's say I have a 7 plus 2i. Don't yell it out, but I want you to think. Think, think, think. What can I multiply on this side to make sure when I'm all done, there's no I's left over? I don't want any I's. Think about it. Try it in your box, because I want to hear your opinion. What can I multiply by? So try it in pencil. Sean, give me an idea. What did you try? Negative what? What should I put on here on the side? Okay, you tried a 7? You guys, there's no wrong answer here. 7, and what'd you try here? How about a pencil that works? Can I? 7 and 1? Let him try. Negative I? Okay. Let's try it. I'm gonna use this. Ew. That's fine. I'll use it. 7 times 7, that's 49. 7 times 2i, that's 14i. 7 times negative I is 7. Negative 7i. Uh-oh, what's the problem? not gonna cancel out quite yet. And then this times 2, that's a negative 2i squared. And that's gonna cancel. That's gonna cancel because what's I squared? Negative 1. So that's okay, but this is not okay. So maybe I can fix this.
Minus 2i.
So what happens if I make this a minus 2i? 7 times negative 2i, isn't this a negative 14i? Now these are going to cancel. And then this becomes, be careful, 2 times negative 2, that's a negative 4i squared. And that's okay, that's okay, that's okay. Why? Because what's I squared? It's negative 1. Okay? So the only way for me to get rid of a 7 plus 2i is to multiply by its conjugate, which is 7 minus 2i. Did I have to make the 7 negative? Why? Why do I not have to make the 7 negative? If I make the 7 negative, wouldn't this be a negative 49 and then this would become a what? A negative. Now does that cancel? No. So do I make the 7 negative? Yes or no? What part do I make negative? The real part or the imaginary part? Only the imaginary part. Did I lose anybody there? I'll come get you if you're lost. Did I lose anybody? So now I found the conjugate. Now I don't need you to do this, but I want you to practice. The final answer should be 53 when you're done. Wait, Miss Riad, what happened to the I? Yeah, the whole point was to what? Get rid of the I. So if you do the conjugate, you're like, woohoo, conjugate, great, da-da-da, plus I, hello. The whole point of the conjugate was to get rid of the I. So you shouldn't have any I's when you're done. Y'all with me? So what's the conjugate? Example 3. What is the conjugate of 3 minus 5i? Do I make the 3 negative? Do I make the 5 negative? It's already negative. So what do you do with the 5? You make it positive. So the conjugate is 3 plus 5i. Are you convinced of that? So this is what I need you to do. Draw me the area model and prove to me that the i's go away by multiplying 3 plus 5i and 3 minus 5i. Here I go to hover over you. Make sure you do it right. Make sure everybody in your group gets 34. Sharing is caring. Make sure everybody gets that. You guys have to talk to each other. It's that thing on your mouth that goes like this. Oh, you guys know what I mean. Yeah, ask. Did you get 34? Did you get 34? Did you get 34? Here's your doyo. You're going to find and prove the conjugate of 1 minus I. Find the conjugate and hurry up, guys, hurry. What is the conjugate, you guys, while you're doing it? What is it? Is the 1 negative? Is the I negative? Guys, please, what is it? 1 plus I. Very good. When you guys are all done, make sure everybody gets this. You should get 2. The reason why the notes are called quotients, you guys, is because one of the major rules is in math is that your denominator can never be 0, nor can it ever have an I in it. No, can you scoot back a little bit, honey? So, example 4, if you have a denominator, stop. Isaiah, look. If you have a denominator that's 0, that's illegal, and you cannot have a denominator that has an imaginary number either, okay? So you can never have an I in your denominator. can have I squared, but what is really I squared? Thank you. Just checking. Elizabeth, don't let me lose you. Stick with me. All right, so if I have 3 plus 4i over 2 minus 3i, am I allowed to have an I in the denominator? Am I allowed to have an I in the denominator? Am I allowed to have an I in the numerator? Yes. Is 0 allowed to be in the numerator? Is 0 allowed to be in the numerator? Is 0 allowed to be in the denominator? No, so it's the same rules for 0. Ready, Sean? What is the conjugate of 2 minus 3i? Yes, so I'm going to multiply top and bottom by 2 plus 3i. Now, what we're doing is we're getting rid of the I in the denominator. And now we're going to simplify it to C. If you're in seat A or B, I want you to do the numerator. If you're in seat C or D, I want you to do the denominator. And I'm going to call on you and tell me what you get. You're going to multiply them out. Multiply these two. If you're in A, B, do the area model. And if you're in seat C or D, do these two.